Hi, my name is Kellander. I'll be doing some stand-up. I was looking on Facebook the other day, and a list came up to tell if you're from PA certain things, and it said if you've never spent a day in Punxsutawney for Groundhog's Day. I'm not really about that. I don't understand why that's a holiday. Like there's President's Day, and like Martin Luther King Day, and Valentine's Day, like things that are actually about people, and then you got this groundhog. Why? And then I'm watching late night TV and I got to see Gus pop up there. Hi, I'm Gus. I'm the second most famous groundhog in Pennsylvania. Get the fuck off my TV, Gus. Also, Phil Swift. I love that dude. When he pops up, he's just like, hi, I'm Phil Swift and I'm here with Flexio. And I'm gonna sway this Flexio on the bottom of this boat with this queen door and we're gonna spend a day on the lake. How's that sound? I just love that list so much. But it's weird that commercial's always followed up with vagina mesh commercials. I didn't even know that was a thing. I like some sports. I don't get soccer. It's just because I can never run that much. It almost seems like you need a knapsack packed with treats and shit. Whereas football, it's like 45-second play followed by a 20-minute tea party. Speaking of football, I was watching the Steelers game when the dude ripped the helmet off dude and just smacked him in the head with it. And then the other dude ran up and like jumped on his back and just started wailing on him, got him on the ground and put the boots to him. What I loved about the dude putting the boots to the other dude, his name was Pouncy. But I guess they have to have a close relationship. I mean, he's a center and the other dude's a quarterback. Like, his hands have to exist right in dude's nards, like, on a regular basis. Who's closer than that? I got in trouble in school one time because another kid who couldn't spell anything wrote a bomb threat, but he wrote, "There's a boom in the building." And I got called down to the office because I'm the only person who would be smart enough to misspell it to get another kid in trouble. And then the other kid that got called down, he just spells anything that's over 6 letters wrong. And we both got interviewed and we both wrote it down. But when I got down there, they were like, hey, write bomb on this piece of paper. And I was like, that seems a little bit suspicious, but okay. And I wrote it down and they were like, all right, you're free to go. And I was like, no. You don't just have me write bomb on a piece of paper and say I'm free to go. That's a setup right there. What's going down? I don't know the name of the song, but it really frustrates me when I hear it because he says, I'm taken for granted, and I don't like that he says granite because it's granted. I hate it so much, and I hate randomness in music anymore, like that Beyonce song where she's like drunk in love, and then in the middle of nowhere she's just like, watermelon, why? I had an argument with a black guy, he was like, she's saying Merlin, like he's JFK and she Marilyn Monroe, and I was like, nah, I had to wait like a week to look that up, and it was watermelon. I was like, dude, she's just saying it randomly. I also think it's weird that guy got fired from SNL after like a week because he said like racist stuff about Chinese people like way early in his stand-up career. Whenever Lorne Michaels let Will Ferrell go on and do the whole Robert Goulet bit where he like redoes B.I.G. songs, and I don't know if you know that line where he's like playing N-words like dummies, but he sings it in like a lounge singer way, and he says the N-word like 3 times. Will Ferrell did this on TV. It was crazy to me that they would fire another dude for basically the same thing that dude let him do on TV. I watch a lot of TV. The only other voice I can do besides that Phil Swift one is Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. And it's just from like the old ones with like Don Knotts and that crazy lady, I think it's Cloris Leachman or something with the wild white hair. And he's like, hey, Like Zoink Scoob, it's the Harlem Globetrotters. Bro, like the guys who do all the fancy basketball tricks. Bro, Ricky. Not too good. But I did like the live action one with like Linda Cardellini, who is like way too attractive to play Velma. Like she should be a pudgy girl, and then like really tall Sarah Jessica Parker. Or, no, that's not Sarah Jessica Parker. What is her name? Ah, hell. That's the mom joke. But I don't know. Anyone here ever been to jail? Yeah, that's not really a good question to ask. I don't know if you've ever been, but if you do go, they'll ask you a question. And it's a weird one, because it's, how do you feel to be in jail? And the right answer is, how the fuck do you think I feel? I'm in jail, you asshole. But don't do that, because they'll put you on suicide risk. You're supposed to be like, yeah, I'm happy to be here, ready to start doing some time. And my dad was kind of an outlaw. He liked Harleys, and he drives a truck, and drinks beer, and is just a man's man. And he asked me whenever I was in, he said, why would you be such a fuck up and such a rebel? And I was like, I don't know. I wonder where I got that idea. It was a good way to go. A real good way to mess with a guard is when you get off the phone, turn to them and say, you need to get milk when you get home. I hate it. If anybody asks you when you get there if you packed a suitcase, just know that they're asking you if you brought drugs in your ass. There was this fun guy in there named Dobie. We called him the Mad Jacker. He came in and they did the tour or whatever to check on everybody, the head count. And he was in his cell, buck naked, while this little pixie-looking guard walked by. And he had one foot up on his stool and the other on his bunk, just flexing while getting it. So they eventually just put this big magnet up on his window because he was an animal and would just start doing that whenever a guard would come on the block. But his name was Lavarius Dobie, and he asked me what my name is, and I told him Zach Kellander. And he's like, oh, Flanders, what kind of name Flanders? I was like, first of all, I'm not Homer Simpson's neighbor. It's Kellander. And he's like, that's a fucked up name. And it is kind of a fucked up name, but for somebody named Lavarius Dobie to say that, like, my name in German probably means like black garden, whereas his name means black parents. There was another guy in there, we called him the Bear Jew. He bit a guard in the hospital and got in there, and I've never seen a man that big just disrobe so quickly. You would turn your head as you would be talking to him, turn your head and look back, and this man is just asshole naked. And he starts dancing, and he would get up on the sink and take a bird bath and be singing yay, yay the whole time. I felt bad for him, like I didn't think he should have been in there. The best way to get out of somebody trying to hit on you if you're in jail is just swing open your door and say, if you come in here, it's self-defense. If I go out there, it's murder. And that usually dissuades that. I met a guy in there, I hung out with him on the street. He had this Rottweiler named Rocco. And this dog was the dumbest, smart dog I've ever met in my life. His name was Rocco because he chewed on rocks, so clearly he wasn't that smart. But I seen this dog jump up and grab a rope swing and go out up over the water and actually listen to people telling him to let go so he didn't slam back into the rocks. But another time we were ripping a chimney out of this old dilapidated house, and it was on the second floor that we were just taking bricks and hucking them out the window, and he just kept watching us. And all of a sudden, he just jumps out the second story window and just like hits the ground down below. And I was like, dude, your dog just jumped out the window. He's like, oh man. And then sure enough, like 10 seconds later, the dog's sitting there like, throw another one, man, throw another one, please. He was just invincible. I think I found another Who's on Phyrst. I don't know if you know the Abbott and Costello bit from back in the day. they would be like, who's on Phyrst? And they would be like, oh, yeah, that's right, because the guy on Phyrst, his name was Who. So I was listening to Behind Blue Eyes, I think Limp Bizkit does the remake, and my brother was like, who does the remake for this? And I was like, exactly. Or who does the original for this? And I was like, exactly. And he was like, no, seriously, who does the original for this? And I was like, yeah, that's who does it. Who? My one buddy has this weird habit. He likes to randomly watch porno videos. He doesn't like get weird about it and start like jerking it or nothing, but he just sits there and giggles to himself like, oh, check out this chicken, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, it's not that funny. So one day, I think he was running out of search material. So he's like, what's a porno chick's name? And I happen to listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of comedy podcasts. And a certain guy, Jim Norton, he has a podcast and he brings a lot of people on. So I was like, oh, look up this chick. Little did he know that it was the inspiration that this transvestite chick that he had up on his show, she was saying this was her inspiration. So he looks it up and he's like, oh man, she's so hot. And then obviously he got about 15 seconds in the video and he was like, oh my God, why do you know that chick's name? And I was like, I don't know, why do you know why do you know what her dick looks like? I don't like kids video game slang. They say sweaty, like they're trying to earn XP, like it's a bad thing, and at the same time they turn around and say, I'm getting sweaty, but you would think you won't want to be sweaty. And then they call me a scrub, and I'm like, dude, are you in TLC? Like, why are you calling me a scrub? You don't have a job. I have a job. That's what a scrub means. Someone who doesn't have a job who's a bum. And I don't know if girls do this. I'm just curious. I'm interested in like differences between the genders. Do girls, when they're done filling up the gas pump, do you shake the nozzle off or do you just put it back on the thing? Because we're trained to shake it off before we put it back. I'm just wondering. No, cool. I'm allergic to wool. I don't know if you know how they test for wool. They tape it to your back, and they're like, we'll see you in 3 days. In the meantime, I'm having a 3-day reaction, itching the hell out of my back. And I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for fat people. I went through a thyroid thing. I got overdosed on lithium, and then I had a thyroid issue, and I had to take pills. And then like it corrected itself, and I weighed 200 pounds and got back to normal at like 160. So I don't feel bad. Like, just keep motivated out there. I don't know if anybody else has ever seen a sign and just seen the T in the sign, turned and looked, thinking it said taco and it says therapy. And you're like, fuck therapy. I want tacos. Well, that's my time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good one.